Hello and warm regards from Next IST. Welcome to another episode of Daily News Analysis. The topics that we are having today is first one is Liberalized Remittances Scheme. Second topic is Integrated Theatre Command. Third is PM Internship Scheme. Fourth is Sihang Dam. And last one, in the decoded section, we are having a new vision for Northeast. So let's start with the first topic. The first topic that we are having is Liberalized Remittances Scheme. Now this topic is in the backdrop that the student remittances under the LRS scheme for the financial year 2025 has now shown being to be lowest in the last 5 years. Now this topic becomes relevant from paper G3 of GS and the economy section. Now what is the news here? The news is that for the first time after COVID, there has been a decline in the remittances by the resident Indians under the liberalized remittances scheme, and it has declined by 6.84%. Now what does this statement mean? The statement means whatever amount the rupee that is going from India to the outside world after converting into dollar or in the foreign currency, that is now declining. Now in the 2024, the amount was $31.74 billion. In 2025, it is $29.56 billion. So a dip of 6.84% has been there. Next thing, what are the reasons for that? The first and foremost reason is the declining number of Indian students going abroad. And the basic reason there comes is that the study permits that are being issued by countries like USA, Canada and UK have been cut off for the Indian students. There have been a 25% decline in the students receiving these study permits. Due to that only, there has been a decline in the remittances that are going outside. Secondly, another reason is the global economic situation. The volatile conditions of the global economy and market has forced many people to drop or postpone their travel plans. So that is the second reason for the remittances going down. Now, by the way, do you know where the remittances come about? In our BOP account, there are basically two parts. One is the current account. Second is the capital account. The current account deals with those situations which do not interfere with the assets of a person. For example, if you are buying a property, that comes under capital account. If you are buying any FDI, if any FDI is coming, that comes under capital account. If you are paying remittances, that comes under current account. Anything which can be settled in the same year or there is a one-way transaction, that comes under the current account. Remittances are a part of the transfer payments. So these transfer payments are part of the current account. So remittances come under current account. Now the outgoing remittances or outgoing transfer payments from India has now been declined. That is what the news is all about. Now something about this liberalized remittances scheme of RBI. It was launched in 2004 in February and the limit initially was 25,000. Now this limit have been raised to 2.5 lakh USDs for one financial year. So there is a permissible 2.5 lakh USD limit for current and capital account transaction, and these transactions are governed by the FEMA or Foreign Exchange Management Rules of 1999. It is not available to corporates, partnership firms, Hindu undivided families, trust, etc. For them, there is another provision. Next, Union Budget of 2025 has also raised the threshold. Threshold means the minimum amount on which the tax will be collected. So the tax collection at source threshold has been increased from 7 lakhs to 10 lakh rupees. Lastly, the transactions which are allowed in the scheme, it can be allowed for education, travel, medical expenses that are happening abroad, then purchase of property and investment in the foreign stocks. The last thing is prohibited items under the scheme. The prohibited items under the scheme include the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 list. For example, Schedule 1 includes the purchase of lottery tickets, sweepstakes, proscribed magazines of the FEMA rules or Foreign Exchange Management Current Account Transaction Rules of 2000. So these things are prohibited. Secondly, the investment in the foreign stocks is although allowed, but trading in the foreign exchange is not allowed. So that is not allowed abroad. Next is margin or margin calls or purchase of foreign currency convertible bonds by the Indian companies in the overseas secondary market is also not allowed. Next, capital account remittances to non-cooperative countries under the FATF force. For example, Pakistan initially was on grey list. For that, these remittances will not be allowed. So, individual entities identified as posing significant risk to committing acts of terrorism as advised separately by the RBI also out of this list. And lastly, gifting by a resident to another resident in the foreign currency for credit of the later, then that is another resident in the foreign country's credit foreign currency account, if there is credit given to that account held abroad under LRS, is also not allowed. So these are the conditions in which the scheme will not be implemented. Now you are in a position to attempt the MCQ and post your answers in the comment box. The next topic that we are having is about the integrated theatre command. Now this topic is in the backdrop that there is a proposed restructuring of the Indian Armed Forces into the integrated theatre command. This topic becomes relevant from paper 3 of General Studies in the internal security topic. Now what is the news here? The news is that it is about the integrated theatre command, that we need an integrated theatre command to better tackle the issues. What is this integrated theatre command? It is a military formation that aims to unify the operational capabilities of Army, Navy and Air Force. Objective is to enhance the coordination and efficiency by pooling the resources of all the three forces services to combat in strategic operations. It is having basic two components. One is the force generation, second is the force application. Force generation simply means the raising, training and sustaining of the human resource or the army or the armed forces resources, and it has to be done by the service chief, for example army chief or admiral of navy. So they are going to do this force generation part. Second is the force application part, that will be under the command of the theatre commander. That means how this force is going to be used, how this force is going to be deployed, that is the force application part. So that is the force application component. Now next thing, what is the structure of today's theatre commands that we are having? So currently we are having single command, service command and tri-service commands. The single service commands include Army, Navy and Air Forces having their individual commands. So there are 7 commands in Army, 7 commands in Air Force and 3 commands in Navy. For the tri-service command, we are having at two places we see this. One is Andaman and Nicobar, which was established in 2001. Second is the Strategic Forces Command, that is actually take case of the India's nuclear arsenal. For India's nuclear arsenal, we are having a strategic command force. These joint combat commands can be structured based on geography assigned to a specific area responsibility or by function depending on the nature of the mission. Next thing, what are the initiatives that have been taken by the government in this regard? So the government enacted the Inter-Services Organization, Command, Control and Discipline Act of 2023. This act grants disciplinary and administrative authority to the Commander-in-Chief and officer in command of the inter-service organizations over personnel from other branches serving under them, facilitating smoother joint operations. The first tri-service common defense station was established in Mumbai in 2024. It merges the logistic and the maintenance facilities of all three services under one leadership. Now, what does this statement mean? For example, we take a simple example of vehicles. Vehicles need maintenance time to time. Now, for Navy also needs vehicle, Army also needs vehicle, and Air Force also needs vehicle. So, if we are having 3 individual stations for vehicle maintenance, that is becomes costly for us. If we are having a single station which can cater to the maintenance of all the 3 armed forces, then we are combining the resources and we are having a common center where these services can be done. So, we are actually becoming economical and more efficient in this manner. Next, what are the proposed theatre commands? We basically need 3 commands. First one is on the Pakistan front, second on the China front, and third one on the maritime theatre command. Now, lastly, the challenges in implementing this integrated theatre command. The first challenge is lack of unified war fighting doctrine. There is no war fighting doctrine that is integrated or unified for the 3 services. That actually complicates the consensus on command structure. What command has to be given, what should be the command structure, that consensus that takes time to build a consensus upon it, because we are not having a structured doctrine regarding that. Secondly, uneven resource allocation is there. The army dominates budgetary and manpower source, potentially skewing command influence and resource distribution. Third, integrating personals under a unified command structure raises concerns about career progression, rank equivalence, and command hierarchy, making transition complex. The next, underdeveloped infrastructure, particularly in the northern theater, hampers joint operations due to inadequate road and rail connectivity. Lastly, technological integration is also becoming difficult. Why? Because cyberspace and electronic warfare capabilities of India are still in nascent stage, and as compared to China, they are very advanced. So these are the challenges that we face with respect to implementing the theater commands. Now, what action should be taken? First of all, establish a unified military doctrine. That is the primary thing that we need, so that consensus among the service to guide theater command operations can be very well established. Second, promote tri-service strategic planning and operation under the leadership of CDS. Third, establish joint training, expand the tri-service war college like National Defense College and integrate service academics with the joint training modules. Then phased implementation. Initiate pilot projects in the specific domains such as air defense or maritime operations. And lastly, enhance the infrastructure in forward areas through border road organization and vibrant village programs. So these are the steps that we need to take to have a proper integrated command theater. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to attempt this MCQ and post your answers in the comment box. The third topic in the explain section is the PM internship scheme. Now, the backdrop is that the government seeks cabinet note to tweak PM internship scheme based on the pilot rounds. So there have been some pilot rounds. Based upon that, there have been some inputs, and government wants some changes in the scheme. Now, this topic becomes relevant from paper 2 of general studies in the welfare schemes, also the paper 3 GS3 in the economy, because this relates with the human resource development and employment opportunities. Let's see something about this news. Now, first of all, about the news. Based on the reviews of the 2 pilot phases of the PM internship scheme PMIS, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, which is the implementing agency for this scheme, plans to undertake certain tweaks in the scheme and send for the final approval from the Union Cabinet soon. Now, what is this PM internship scheme? It is being implemented by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Secondly, it aims to provide 1 crore young individuals with a 12-month paid internship at nation's top companies over the next 5 years. So the time frame is 5 years. The target is the young individuals amounting 1 crore individuals. Third one is, what are they going to be provided? They are going to be provided with a 12-month internship. And at what place? At the top companies of the country, so that they become employment ready. The problem that we are facing, that we are having a huge labor force, but that is not skilled. So to make our workforce skilled, we are having this PM internship scheme. Now, it is the part of the Prime Minister's package for employment and skilling announced in the 2024-25 budget. Now, what is the eligibility criteria here? First of all, the age limit is 21 to 24 years. Second is the income criteria. No family member should be earning more than 8 lakh rupees per annum. Thirdly, no member should be a government servant or should be in a government job. Next, the employment status will be not employed but full time. Lastly, education. The person should not be enrolled in the IIM, IITs, NLUs, IISER, NIDs, IIITs, IIITs. Then the holders of CA, CMA, CS, MBBS, BDS, MBA, masters or higher degrees are also not eligible for this particular scheme. Lastly, those enrolled in any central or state government apprenticeship, skill or training schemes, they are also not eligible. They have been excluded from this scheme. The next thing is the sectors that are being covered. Automobile, travel and hospitality, banking and finance, manufacturing, metal and mining, FMCGs, these all sectors are covered under this scheme. So training will be provided in all these sectors. Then participating companies. The criteria has been kept of the CSR funding, CSR spending basically. And the objective is to have the training in those companies which are socially and ethically responsible towards the society, so that the skilled labor force that we are developing is also being developed with the right attitude towards the society. So the priority will be given to those companies will be selected which are having a CSR spending over last 3 years. The next is stipend. Stipend will be 5,000 per month. Secondly, one-time grant of 6,000 rupees will also be provided. Third thing is that the insurance schemes. So two insurance schemes basically will be given. First one is the PM Jeevan Jyoti Bima Yojana. Second is the PM Suraksha Bima Yojana. These two schemes will be given. Then minimum 6 months professional experience in the top companies is required. Then internship certificate from top 300 companies will be provided. And lastly, valuable industry exposure to boost employability will also be there. Then next is the how this scheme is being implemented. So the first phase and second phase, these two phases have been covered. In the second phase, the government is targeting for offering 1.18 lakh plus internships across 735 districts in 327 reputed companies, including and those roles which have been carried forward by the first phase as well. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to answer this question and you have to post your answers in the comment box. The fourth topic in the explain section is the Siang Dam. Now, what is the backdrop here? The locals are protesting against the Siang Dam in Arunachal Pradesh, and it is part of the GS1 geography. Along with it, this can also come in GS2 because Siang Dam is in Arunachal Pradesh and it is in the context of India-China relation. Basically, China is building the world's largest dam of 60 gigawatts of hydropower on this particular river in its own territory. And that dam is going to affect India as well. So as a countermeasure, India is now developing infrastructure so that we can tackle any kind of possible challenges that can come up from China in context of water. Now, this topic also becomes relevant from GS paper 2, also from GS paper 3 because it is related with the hydropower, that is the energy infrastructure. So you can cover it in GS2 also and GS3 also. So all these papers 1, 2 and 3, this particular topic can find relevance. Now about the news. The protests have broken out in Arunachal Pradesh, Siang district against the proposed 11,000 megawatt Upper Siang hydro project. See, this is a 11 gigawatt project. That is actually a very huge project. India's total hydroelectric power potential is 62 gigawatts. Out of this only project can give 11 gigawatts. So this is a very huge project. And as this is a very huge project, it is going to take a lot of land. That's why these protests are going on. This comes days after security forces moved into the area and the National Hydroelectric Power Corporation brought equipments to begin drilling work for the project feasibility studies. Siang Dam is meant to counter the possible effects of China's planned 60 gigawatt dam, the world's largest hydroelectric project on the Yarlung Zangpo River in Tibet. This Yarlung Zangpo River then becomes Brahmaputra River when it arrives in India. So this is a river which rises near the Mansarovar Lake and it is in Tibet, flows to Tibet and then comes to India. Now China is planning to have the world's biggest dam on this particular river. Next is the Upper Siang hydroelectric project. Already I have told you about the capacity, that is 11 gigawatts, and it is being developed in Arunachal Pradesh on the Siang river. Now this is a run of the river project with a storage component as well. The objective is very simple: electricity, flood mitigation and countering China's hydroelectric project on the Brahmaputra river. Next is China's mega dam projects. Already China is having one of the world's largest projects as the Three Gorges Dam. Now this project will be 3 times bigger than that project. This is a 60 gigawatt hydropower project that is included in the China's 14th 5-year plan of 2020. However, it was approved or granted approval in 2024 itself. It will be located at the Great Bend at the Yarlung Zangpo River, where it takes a U-turn in Bidog country in Tibet. The estimated cost will be $137 billion, and it is expected the power generation will be around 300 billion kilowatt hours annually. The output will be 3 times greater than that of the Three Gorges Dam on the Yangtze River. Now you have to mark on the China's map where is this Yangtze River. Next thing is about the Three Gorges Dam. It is on the Yangtze River, and one more important dam is there, that is Zemu Dam. This Zemu Dam is also on this Yarlung Zangpo River itself. It is in some portion is above that. If we try to locate it, It will be somewhere here above Sikkim. This Zangmu Dam is situated. Now, the riparian impact. There are basically 3 riparian countries to this Zangpu river. The first one is the Bhutan, then India, and then is the Bangladesh. All the 3 countries may be affected by this particular dam. India and Bhutan are the middle riparian countries, and Bangladesh is the lowermost riparian nation. Next is the Yarlung Zangpu river. The origin is near the Mansarovar lake at the Chimayudung glacier in Kailash range. It enters Arunachal Pradesh as the river Siang or river Dihang. This river Siang or river Dihang, as you can see on the map, it combines with Dibang river and Lohit river to form the Brahmaputra river. So Siang, Sikang and Lohit river combine to form the Brahmaputra river. This Siang river is also known as Dihang river, and Sikang river is also known as Dibang river. So either you say Dihang, Dibang and Lohit river, or Siang, Sikang or Lohit river. That means the same. They all 3 combine to form the Brahmaputra river in Assam. The left bank tributaries of the Brahmaputra river are Dibang or Sikang, then Lohit, Dhansiri, Kalang and Burhi Dihing. Then right bank tributaries are Subansiri, Kameg, Manas and Sankosh. These are important, and UPSC has also asked question upon these rivers. Now, based upon the discussion, attempt the MCQ and post your answers in the comment box. Now it's time for the decoded section. Today, the topic that we are having for the decoded section is a new vision for Northeast. Now, this topic is in the backdrop that a rising Northeast, the Investor Summit, has been organized at Delhi, and government is focusing upon Northeast region's development, because this region has for a long time has not tasted the fruits of the development. Now, this topic becomes relevant from GS paper 2, that is the regional development, and GS paper 3, the internal security topic. About the news, first of all, the Ministry of Donor, Government of India has organized the Rising Northeast to showcase the investment and trade potential of the Northeast region of country. Northeast region includes Sikkim, Meghalaya, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram and Tripura. So these states are included in the Northeast region. This region is very important for us. The first of all is the strategic importance. It shares border with 5 countries: China, Bhutan, Nepal, Myanmar and Bangladesh. So strategically it becomes very important for us, for trade also and from security perspective also. Then connectivity and East Asia policy. It is the gateway to the Southeast Asia, and under the India's Act East policy, it's key to the regional integration and trade. Next is natural resources. It is rich in oil, natural gases, coal, limestone, forest, and it has a huge potential for hydropower as well. Then next is the renewable energy potential. It accounts for 40% of the total 62,000 megawatts of the India's hydropower potential. So it is having a huge hydropower potential. Next, its estimated solar power potential is 57,360 megawatts or 57 gigawatts, and only 17% of the capacity has been installed till. So there is a huge potential in this region. Next is the cultural diversity. More than 200 ethnic groups reside in this region. That's why it is culturally very, very diverse. There's a diversity in language, tradition, heritage. So it enhances India's cultural diversity. Then biodiversity. Cultural diversity is very rich. Along with it, biodiversity is also very rich. It is one of the world's biodiversity hotspots and is critical for ecological balance and conservation. You have a number of national parks here: Kaziranga National Park, Kanchenjunga National Park, Namdhapa National Park, then you have Manas National Park. All these national parks are in this region. Lothak Lake is there. Then tourism potential. The scenic landscapes, the wildlife sanctuaries, the cultural festivals attract domestic and foreign tourists. One-horned rhinoceros is unique to India in the Kaziranga National Park. The footbridges of Meghalaya, they are important. The local Lothak Lake, Fumdis are important in this region. So these all have a huge tourism potential. The horticulture potential of this region is also very high because the biodiversity is very high. So we have a lot of potential that we can actually utilize from this region. Then the economic growth. The development of sectors like agriculture, handloom, handicraft, horticulture can boost employment and income and contribute substantially to the GDP of the country. Then treasure of the human resource. A large number of young people with almost 80% literacy rate is found in this region, and they are very hardworking people. Next is the challenges that we are facing. First and foremost challenge is the insurgency related challenge. The recent ethnic clashes in Manipur that we are seeing between the Maitris and the Kuki communities, that is a prominent example. These kind of insurgency related challenges have been a long due in this region and have not been resolved properly. Second challenge is the poor infrastructure and connectivity. As this is a hilly region and therefore developing road rail infrastructure becomes very difficult. Even the telecommunication infrastructure is not very well developed in this region, so we need to focus upon this also. Third one is it is prone to natural disasters. For example, landslides. They may disrupt the highways in the states like Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Tripura, and it highlights the fragile infrastructure of this region. Next is the economical underdevelopment that this region is facing. In spite of having a rich natural resources, it is contributing very little to India's GDP. Then illegal immigration and demographic change, a very important issue here. Influx of illegal migrants, especially from Bangladesh, has led to socio-political tensions and changes in the demographic composition. Then limited access to quality education and healthcare. Tribal belts of Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland have limited access to higher education and tertiary medical healthcare. Then border disputes between the states like Assam, Meghalaya, Assam, Mizoram. Their disputes have not been resolved yet. Then climate change and environmental degradation. Annual Brahmaputra flood devastate large areas of Assam, displacing thousands and affecting the agriculture. Then alienation and lack of representation. Many communities feel alienated from mainstream Indian politics and culture. And last one is the drug trafficking and substance abuse. This region is in very much proximity to the Golden Triangle. Golden Triangle is formed by Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand. Golden Triangle is the region where there is a lot of drug cultivation. One more region is there, that is known as Golden Crescent. You have to tell me, where is the Golden Crescent situated? I just give you a hint, it is on the western side of India. Now, coming back to the topic, the drug trafficking and substance abuse. Proximity to the Golden Triangle, that is Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand, had led a surge in the drug trafficking and addiction issues, especially among the youth. Now, how the government approach have evolved over the time. Initially, the challenge of insurgency, violent civil movements have led to an approach that this is a region that is ridden with security concerns. So as far as development was concerned, people in this region saw Delhi as being too far, that Delhi does not respond to their developmental needs. In 1990s, we realized that this region becomes important for us. And in the Look East policy that was evolved in 1990s, this region became the gateway for that. So this region came into light after we had a Look East policy. Next, in early 2000, the government established a donor ministry in 2001 and tried to turn Northeast into the gateway for the relation with the countries in the East, so that to enhance its own development region. Then what are the recent approach? The Look East policy has now been made into Act East policy, and it happened in 2014. Next is ministerial engagements have been increased with the region. There are frequent visits to this Northeast region. The emotional connect is also being looked upon. The perception of distance from Delhi is now getting reduced. The Northeast Special Infrastructure Development Scheme was launched for building roads, water supply, and power infrastructure. The Ministry of New and Renewable Energy has earmarked 10% of its annual scheme budget exclusively for Northeast region. Then energy projects, 20 megawatt solar power projects and projects like this are also under development. Then sports infrastructure is being developed. India's first sports university is being developed at Imphal in Manipur. Then 8 Khelo India Centers of Excellence and 250 Khelo India Centers have been established in the Northeast region. Even in the schemes that are being implemented in the Northeast region, the 90 to 10% weightage is being taken. That is 90% funding will be by the central government and 10% will be by the state governments. Then proposed connectivity projects are there. For example, Kaladan multimodal project is there. Then digital connectivity is also being focused upon. 30,000 kilometers of the optical fiber expansion has given rise to 4G and 5G coverage. Then what is the way ahead? We need to focus upon the infrastructure development. Road, rail, air and digital connectivity are very, very important. They need to be focused upon. Secondly, as this region is agriculturally rich, horticulturally rich, we need to promote the agro-based and organic farming in this region so that we can leverage the regional's biodiversity for organic farming and value addition. Sikkim itself have become the 100% organic state. Next is the education and skill development. We need to focus upon that. We need to channelize the energy in the right direction. Then tourism development is also required because this region is having a huge potential and it is going to give the local people a avenue for earning their livelihood. Then peace building and political dialogue is very, very important. Without peace, the development cannot come. So we need to address all the pending insurgency or conflict related issues so that we can focus upon development. Then strengthening local governance and autonomy. As this region is having more than 200 ethnic groups, that simply means they are having their own culture, own tradition, and they need their own rules. So we need to focus more upon the local governance and autonomy so that they can follow their culture and they can enforce their rules. In that manner, it will give them a satisfaction with respect to the cultural needs. Then environmental sustainability is the last point that we need to focus upon. In the wake of development, we should not be compromising with the nature. The development should be done along with the conservation of forest, rivers and biodiversity. To conclude, the region is no longer on the periphery, but is a key player in India's regional diplomacy and economic strategy. It needs comprehensive development and governance through inclusion. Sustainable development here must blend infrastructure with identity and growth with grassroots participation. So we need to focus upon these things. Now, based upon the discussion, you have to attempt the mains question and you can post your answer in the comment box. With this, we conclude for the today. Thank you very much.